So Tau has undeniably been one of the strongest AI crypto projects in the whole space, and AI crypto in general is by far the biggest narrative of this entire cycle. To me, it's actually comparable to play to earn and crypto gaming from last cycle. Or if you remember, if you've been around here for a while, in 2021, play to earn, metaverse, crypto gaming, that was the narrative to be invested in, and everybody was flocking to throw their money into pretty much anything that was crypto gaming or play to earn related. This cycle, it's AI. But the huge key difference that is extremely important and was totally different to crypto gaming is the fact that AI is even bigger. And the reason it's even bigger is because crypto gaming was only a thing in crypto. It wasn't a thing in the real world. But AI, on the other hand, is absolutely not exclusive to crypto. And in fact, it's completely new to crypto. You see, over the past 2 years since OpenAI released ChatGPT, AI has been the biggest thing in the entire investment world, the biggest thing for VCs, the biggest thing in Silicon Valley. If you were a brand new kid fresh out of college who wanted to be the next Zuckerberg and you dreamed up a brand new startup, if you came to VCs and it didn't have something to do with AI, over the past 2 years, they would have practically laughed you out the room. They only wanted to invest in AI related startups, and pretty much the entire Silicon Valley VC space basically spent the past 2 years throwing billions and billions of dollars at anything AI related. That was before AI even made its way into crypto, and now AI is in crypto, it's even bigger. So this time around, we not only have a clear narrative winner of the cycle, which is AI, but it also comes at a time where pretty much every single big player and institution is pouring money into crypto, desperately trying to get themselves a piece of this brand new industry that kind of just got legalized. Not to give Trump all the credit, but before he was in office, crypto was pretty demonized. You had Gary Gensler suing people left, right, and center. You had the Biden administration pretty much making no clear regulatory framework for crypto companies to succeed, and now all of that has changed. So to a certain extent, the floodgates have opened and crypto is bigger than ever. And the smart money, the big VCs, the big institutions have spent the past 2 years throwing all their money at AI. So what is the natural progression for them to come into crypto and look at? They're going to be looking at AI projects, and Bittensor Tau being the biggest, and I'm going to make a very good case for why I think it's the most useful crypto AI project in the space, is naturally going to take a lot of that attention, and it's the reason why it's run so hard already. And full disclosure, Bittensor Tau is by far my biggest holding. It makes up almost a third of my entire investment portfolio, but I'm going to make a good case for why it's one of the most, if not the most obvious play in crypto right now, and how I intend on profiting from it massively. Alright, so Bittensor just did something over the past couple weeks that we've been waiting to see since February. It broke out of its downtrend. It essentially smashed this key resistance area right here and broke out of the downwards consolidation. It was essentially in a massive downtrend, and over the past month, it's done about a 2x off the lows, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. Now, not only did it break this downtrend, it also smashed through this key resistance right here that you see has been tested over and over and over and over again. And if we zoom in here, we can see that it's not only broken out, but it appears to now be consolidating above this key resistance, which appears to have now flipped support, which is great. This period right here was about a 7-week downtrend since February. The thing completely fell through the floor and went down to a low of around $170. But since the trade war news appears to be easing up, pretty much the entire crypto market has bounced back, and Tau has absolutely ripped to not a new all-time high yet, but a very convincing recovery already. And with it not only breaking out of this downtrend right here, but appearing to be consolidating above what was previously a pretty significant resistance that's now flipped support, this is ultimately a very good sign. So what does all this mean? Well, simply put, this is exactly what you'd want to see, and this is a great sign of a hopefully continued recovery that we're going to get over the next few weeks and potentially months, depending on how long this lasts. Now, I'm kind of in two minds. So on one side, you could make a good case for this being a bear market rally. We had such massive downwards momentum that there had to be a bounce. On the other side, you can look at essentially the macroeconomics of the world and say, okay, well, really, what caused this massive dump? It was pretty much the uncertainty in the market, Trump getting in, starting a pretty brutal trade war. Then you combine that with the fact that we already had a massive run up, not only in crypto, but in the S&P and pretty much all global liquidity markets at the end of 2024. We were kind of due a correction. So I don't think what we've experienced has been a bear market, because really this was all just natural uncertainty in the market, and it kind of could have come at any time. Bittensor is the biggest AI coin in essentially the biggest narrative of this cycle. cycle, which is AI crypto. And the chart speaks 1,000 words. We can look at that chart and it clearly shows significant demand. But the thing I like even more about Bittensor, and it's why it makes up such a scary percentage of my portfolio, is because Bittensor is not necessarily an individual solo AI project. This is an infrastructure play that gives exposure to the larger AI crypto narrative in general. You see, even though you might know that AI crypto is the hottest thing on the block right now and it's worth throwing your money at, trying to make big bets on individual AI projects is extremely hard. You have no clue what's going to do well, and getting into these things early enough with significant size can be extremely risky to say the least. You genuinely don't know what one's going to do well and what one's going to rug and what one's a, an API wrapper disguised as this big next, incredible product that really it's actually just a whole bunch of APIs connected behind the scenes. It can be really, really hard. And unless you want to spend your entire day reading white papers and going in the community and talking to this guy, doing your research, it's a lot easier to invest in infrastructure. The big, large projects that provide a service that all the other smaller projects use, and it almost acts like a semi-index fund where, you might not want to invest in the top 500 companies in the world. That's a pretty big portfolio. That's a lot to manage. So you can just go and buy the S&P 500 because that is a basket of the biggest assets in the world, and it'll give you exposure to the overall stock market. Infrastructure plays in any narrative, let alone crypto AI, is the easiest way to get exposure to the narrative without taking on massive risk. And that's a reason why I feel confident investing such, massive size into a project like Bittensor. So the reason Bittensor is so important is this. If you start an AI company today, instead of you having to spend months, weeks, years even, training your AI to be competitive and to actually do something important, you can come over to Bittensor and essentially use their network to save loads of time. It's a massive training network for AI. The 50 IQ explanation of this goes as follows. Imagine the world has a giant robot brain that anyone can use. If you have a little robot, you can plug it into this big brain, and every time your robot helps answer a question or solve a problem, it earns some Tau coins. It's being incentivized to help out and contribute to training these other models. So Bittensor isn't like an individual AI project that's doing some random use case like generating videos or generating images or, helping you write some copy for your marketing company. It's an infrastructure play. You can essentially piggyback off the work of this large decentralized network. It's very useful. Now, remember a few minutes ago when I compared Web3 AI, crypto AI to crypto gaming and play to earn. So one of the top crypto gaming projects back in 2021 that was a massive infrastructure play that did insane crazy X's, delivered fantastic returns, but was actually kind of a safer bet because you didn't have to, speculate on 10, 20, 50 different individual crypto gaming projects, was IMX, Immutable X. Immutable didn't make games, they made tools and they built a marketplace, and they essentially were the infrastructure and the network to facilitate all these random crypto gaming play to earn projects. They were a platform, so to speak. The people who really got rich back in the gold rush were the people who were stood there selling the shovels, not necessarily all of the individual miners who were actually buying the shovels and then going down to dig for the gold. Bittensor is the AI network that powers AI models, just like Immutable was the gaming network that powered these NFTs and gaming economies and play to earn infrastructure. Now, the reason I'm making such a big point of this is because this is a flat out easier investment strategy than trying to pick winners. Unless you're like some big influencer and people just give you deals super early, it is very hard to be constantly in the trenches finding the next hot AI coin or the next hot play to earn coin back in the day. I don't want to be investing in 50 different projects to hope and pray that one or two of them becomes the next hot thing, and probably have to kiss the majority of my investments goodbye as they, either don't launch or just go to, absolutely nothing. So instead, investing in infrastructure projects like Bittensor Tau is a much easier way to get exposure to the narrative while also being able to feel confident that you can load in size. I don't want to load, $500 into 50 different tokens and, understand that most of them are going to rug. I want to put tens of thousands of dollars into a token and know that I'm going to catch a few X's on it, because that right there is just a easier investment strategy. It's less to manage, it's bigger returns, it's only one thing you have to pay attention to, and that's just my style. So sure, like doing this method, you're never going to catch 100X. It's at least very unlikely, but you have a much safer, less riskier, easy strategy to still make significant cash because you can invest a lot more, and it's kind of like an index fund. It's kind of like that example I made of the S&P. Or if you're really degenerate like me and you want to throw some money into a meme, you can do the SPX 6900. So now my personal target for Tau, my personal target for Bittensor, if we're purely talking about this as an investment vehicle to make money, I would go ahead and give you a word of warning. Take this with a pinch of salt. Build your own investment thesis. In no way are any of my videos financial advice. I just love making crypto videos because it's a very funny industry and I have a lot of fun. And I have a, real job. I run my own business, and to be honest, it's a fun distraction. But here's where I do believe that Tau is going to go. I think conservatively, Bittensor Tau is going to run to at least 1.5K this cycle. That's around where I'll be scaling out. I do have a few limits before that just because I have a bit of PTSD PTSD from holding this for so long, and my bags are absolutely packed. They're huge, so I'll be DCing out a little bit before then, but I think comfortably we can hit 1.5K, and I'll definitely be pretty much hard selling everything at that point if it does come through over the next couple months, maybe over the course of the next year. Anyways, follow me on X or join my Telegram. Both are linked down below. Happy to connect with everybody. I respond to every single message, and occasionally I open up slots for supersized gains, my DGen community. I do a little bit of DGen trading, a little bit of short-term trading with memes and low caps and, you know, little altcoins that are launching on ETH. If you do want to get in on that action, first join Mackey's Restaurant, and then occasionally I open up slots for supersized gains. So if you want to tap in with me, hit me up there. Subscribe, and peace, guys.